Angel's Egg film screening, Japan Society, New York City, September 10th, 2023. 2 hours later, I'm still trying to figure out my entire interpretation of this Japanese anime movie. Quick backstory, so and look it up. I knew a little bit about the film, but while I was waiting for it to start, I checked it out on Wikipedia. This film dates back to the 1980s, and growing up in the 70s and 80s, I remember, actually it wasn't until the 90s when I started looking at some of the Japanese anime other than Speed Racer and Star Blazers. And this is a true, not only 80s Japanese anime flick, but a true 100% Japanese anime movie. And by that I mean it had all the elements. A very powerful music and score throughout the movie. Not heavy on the dialogue, but it didn't need it. Starting off, a young girl finds a very large egg. And instead of leaving it where she found it, she decides to protect it and basically act like a mother to it. Okay, it may not seem that interesting, but at one point she meets a guy in military attire. At first, she runs away from him. By the way, this is set in a post-apocalyptic world, pure post-apocalyptic. Right off with the movie, with the film, the one thing that I'm like, from the first few seconds, like, all right, I want the backstory. What happened to make it to this world that, completely killed off basically the entire world, almost. And you see, some wreckage, abandoned buildings, etc. The overall, this is kind of scattered. This view is kind of scattered, but it says I think of it. The overall feel to it is dark. And it's pretty much, I don't even think you see the sun one time during the entire film. It's definitely not your, oh wow, post-apocalyptic, we're going to survive it type film. And over the course of the film, and right off, I want to tell you this while I'm thinking about it. The characters don't have names. I think the long weekend. Towards the end, the gentleman does mention his name. Now it is all in Japanese with English subtitles, but that part they didn't subtitle. And 2 times he asks the girl, he says, "What's in the egg?" She says, "I can't tell you." I'm not going to give away the ending of it, but there's a biblical reference of where the boy tells the girl about the story of Noah's Ark, only changing the last part of it where the dove never returned. You know anything about Christianity or Bible? If not, look up the story of Noah's Ark. You'll see what I mean. The movie will fuck with your head, and not in a bad way. It will make you think. It will make you feel for the characters. And the 2-hour interval, actually, I'm starting to finally have the full effects of this movie. The girl carries the egg under her dress, basically where the womb would be for a female. And it's almost like when you see it, it's almost like she's pregnant. So Angel's Egg has, towards the middle and I could see the story of the Noah's Arks actually say, did a little bit of research in Wikipedia on the plot. Excuse me. I walked out of there and I talked to a couple of people and I said, and I'm like, look, there's so much more to it that I haven't figured out how I interpret and its effect on me than just an altered Noah's Ark plot line. And right in the beginning, you see a spaceship landing with figures of stone. And this goes to the story where the boy tells the girl that, okay, well, guess what? The dove never comes back, the people forgot about everything, and eventually the animals turned to stone. So that connected it. But overall, this is just, at times it almost makes you feel hopeless. And there's one part where you see men with harpoons and shadows of fish, very large fish, on the streets and on the buildings. Well, the men throw the harpoons at the shadows, no fish. Okay, where did those shadows come from? And why, after the first 2 attempts, don't they realize, hey, guess what? We're wasting our time here. I realize that may go to the mental, and they never there's so many questions they still have. Again, how did the world get to that point? Even taking the altered Noah's Ark thing with the fishermen. Why didn't they give up after a while? Kind of like, look, you hit it multiple times, you hit the shadow multiple times, no fish. Something I want to allude to towards the end, but I can't. Like I said, check Wikipedia for plot. And there's also, you see tall trees with eggs in the top, with embryo. I think they were birds inside of them. There's just so much of this that maybe a few days, weeks, months, whatever later, I'll finally figure out. And trust me, this is, when I say trying to figure out its impact on me, how I interpret it, that is a very high compliment to this film. It was incredible from start to finish. The lack of dialogue didn't hurt the film in the slightest, actually really helped it. Where and the visualizations and the animations even for Japanese anime in the 80s, which pioneered a lot of animation, the hair blowing in the wind was just completely natural. Even from the technical side, I couldn't find one flaw with this film. If you have a chance and can find it digitally, online, wherever, or Tender Film Screwed, you have to check out Angel's Egg. It's not your artsy type flick. It's not pure drama. There's a little bit of action with the fishermen, but not in a little bit towards the end. Oh, and the boy, he sees the object landing in the beginning. He's like the only one there. And again, I don't want to give away the ending, but there's 2 times in the film where, maybe I am a little bit, where it's the 2 times in the film. So, why was he the only one there? Why was he the only one who witnessed this? Granted, other than the fisherman, you didn't see a single soul in the whole film. But why was he chosen? And thinking about one last thing, thinking about it from that angle, with the male and the female, it was almost like maybe even a little bit of Adam and Eve thrown in. Angel's Egg, I cannot recommend this highly enough. It will make you think, it will make you feel, it will force you to step back, look at it close, and then step back and look at it again, and then a few hours later still trying to figure out how its impact on you and your interpretation. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Michael Phoenix, founder, staff, Fire City Illusions, predecessor, Surreal Veil City. Sorry this one was very long, but the film earned it and deserved it. Wishing you only the best, much success, and please stay safe. From Union Square Park back in New York City.